Television highlights of the news of yesteryear.
It's Sunday evening. Valiant is wrapping up over there. And it is time for the wrap up. That's right. I'm Tom Connors. With me tonight is a man who hasn't been on Midnight's Edge After Dark in a little while. It's been a little bit, but we're glad to have you back. Mr. Fatal Jay, how are you doing, good sir? Looking clear as can be in high definition.
I am absolutely well. Right now, I am bootlegging the internet. I'm actually using my mom's internet, using her Wi-Fi. Currently, I am living in my mom's basement. I am a depressed man.
It's a very nice looking basement.
Yeah, I'm trying to get myself up on my own 2 feet. Be a man. Stop mooching off my mom. Stop asking her for an allowance. I'm a 36-year-old man. I need to get my life together.
How much do you get for an allowance?
She gives me $20 a week.
That's it?
$20 a week. $20 a week. And you know, my mom, she's one of those old types. So she said, and don't spend it all in one place.
You know who else is here with us right now? Who? And I believe his mother is actually visiting.
Oh,
Mikey, the Mexican Iron Man. Have you two ever met?
What? Have we?
What?
I would hope so.
Tom, don't assault us like that anymore, man.
Look at that.
I know Mikey knows everybody.
Yeah, man. I was like cracking out Fatal J. Fatal J is such a brother. Check this out. You know what he did for me last year? He's like you, Tom. So my book got returned that I ordered from him, and this brother man sent it to my new address and paid double postage, tracking, priority, express mail. I mean, I was just like, man, this is a creator that cares about his fans. A great creator,
Mr. Iron Man, man. You warm my heart, man. Everybody who bought the Ninja Blast book, you warm my heart. Tom
I did get it.
Tom, you got it, and you the one helped the campaign. You made me reach my goals.
It's right there.
My loyalty lies with Midnight's Edge, the Midnight's Edge main channel. My loyalty lies with those guys. Tom, do you realize you got me to my first 1,000 subscribers too?
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm sure you had more to do with that than I did.
No, you did it, man. You did it. My
tell us here, Jay, what's going on here? You got a new book coming out. It's Ninja Blast 2, The Secret of Fatal J's Goo. Please tell us what it's all about.
Well, of course, I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of Ninja Blast 1. The main character, his father gets killed by the general of Japan. Now, the main character, he does not know this, but he meets up with the general of Japan when he gets older, and come to find out the general of Japan studied the same ninjutsu as the main character, and the main character is pissed off at his sensei because the sensei and the general are brothers, but they don't like each other, and the main character is mad at the sensei because the sensei did not tell him who killed his father, which was the general. In this book right here, Ninja Blast 2, all I'm going to reveal to everybody is going to be a bunch of ninja on ninja crime going on. Ninja on ninja crime, which means you're going to see violence in this book. You're going to see a lot of action. Ninja Blast 1 was an absolutely success because of the people out there who supported me. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to put some more extra love. I'm going to put some more extra funk into this book. And what I need everybody to do, if you like dope ninja action, great karate action, great art, great storytelling, if you like a indie creator who's going to put his heart into a project, then sign up right now, please. Tom, I sent you another link. I want people to see there is professional comic book artists that believe in my book now. I want you to check out this cover right here, what this professional artist did for me. His name is Kenneth Rockefeller. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he's done Marvel books, DC books, and This piece right here blown me away. That's one of
Awesome.
that's one of the variant covers that you're going to get. That's one of the variant covers you can get. It's going to be 3 different covers. This is one of them. It's going to be a fun ride, man. So make sure to check that out. Ninja Blast 2. Ninja Blast 2. And
You
I'm
know,
done talking.
I think
Done
Ninja
talking.
Blast needs a sidekick named Nunchuckosaurus. I'm just saying.
He actually has a sidekick character. He has a sidekick robot character named Circuit, and Circuit is like Dave Chappelle inside of a robot flying head body. He's like a floating ball, and all he does is crack jokes, but it's real Dave Chappelle-ish type humor.
All day long, all you out there doing is getting with that karate and that ninja stuff. Oh, you need to go get a job.
That's exactly the type of talk he does on the in the book. Fart jokes, stuff like that. You know, real humorous type of stuff.
So, Mikey, you obviously were a fan of the first book, I take it.
Yeah, it was great because the way he wrote it, you know that it can lead to a sequel, but it's also a complete book in and of itself. I mean, sure, it's like there's enough of the story is told so that you're like, oh, that was a good story. Yet he leaves enough open avenues so that you're ready for that next book. And by the way, there's a lot of other themes besides ninja in here. There's kind of Jedi-esque type stuff going on. There's, I mean, I got to tell you, Jay, it's like for the number, you wrapped a lot of story into a few number of pages. And one of the things I like about your book is that when you did the layout, you're smart enough to have like some pages that are full out pages, some that are broken up into 2 panels, and then the traditional, multi-panel pages. And that's a really neat artistic way to do things and present it, because you sometimes when people just like they're trying to feel like a lot of some comic book creators, they're trying to fill a lot of panels into pages. Well, some pages need to stand on their own. You can only do what you can only have one piece of art for the whole page, or maybe 2 panels in that page, because you really want to see the detail, you want to see the action, you want to convey the story, and that's what you did. Great job. It's one of my favorite books. I have 2 comic book racks. One's behind me on the corner, and the other one's downstairs, right when you enter my house. And yours is like row 2. Rack 1, so right on the first level of the house. So great job. I look forward to buying this one.
Hey, I really appreciate that, brother. And my main goal with this book was to beat book 1. I really honestly feel like in my heart that this book 2 is going to be way better than book 1, because I learned from a few mistakes that I made during this campaign. I feel like I'm just Goku. I feel like I'm Vegeta Super Saiyan mode on this book right here. I'm hyped up. I'm ready to give everybody a super dope story. And Mexican Iron Man, I'm just glad that you peeped that out the way that I did the layouts, because my plan for when I did Ninja Blast, I wanted to give everybody a lot, but I wanted to simplify it at the same time, because I'm the type of person, I got a little bit of ADHD, or whatever you want to call it. They said I had a whole bunch of that in schools, and my mom gave me a lot of
So no
spankings when I
mystery
was
boxes or nothing like that?
little. No. Look, man, you throwing too much of me. I just told you I got ADHD. Now, this is what I'm saying here, Tom. This is what I'm saying, Tom. I wanted to give everybody a lot, and I wanted to simplify it because I got ADHD. So I wanted people to get a lot, but to understand what they're reading. I didn't want to confuse people. I wanted to make it very simple. In my mind, I wanted this to be a comic book that was complicated, but was like a children's book at the same time. Now, is that strange?
No, it makes sense. I mean,
Sometimes my brain can go real out there.
Let's be real. Look at most of these comic book superheroes. Even if they are more an adult-oriented type character, most of them are still come from a place of the simplicity of children's stories, basically, right?
Yeah.
So it's
now,
real
Tom,
easy to do.
this is very something real strange happened when I was doing Ninja Blast, because I actually was pumping books locally too. Man, I did crazy numbers locally, but something strange happened. Okay, remember I said I wanted to keep this on a simplistic, elementary type school, comic book level type comic book. Schools start picking this book up, and I'm gonna
Really?
school. But I'm shocked because this book has violence in it. And even some of the principals, they was telling me we would like for you to talk to our kids in the school and just teach them about writing books and stuff like that. And I want to say yes, but at the same time, this Ninja Blast 2 is going to have a bunch of people getting ripped in half and blood spilling. So I don't know if I should, agree to this.
Well, I mean, are they looking at it from this perspective of, your background and all that kind of stuff where they want you to just say, this is how I did this and, or
Maybe
is it more?
so.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe you might want to let them know. Yeah, the second book is going to get a little bit dicey, but sure, I'd love to talk to you guys about whatever, but yeah.
And I don't know, because if kids like it that much, like elementary kids, it might hurt my story because I want you to see blood splattering everywhere.
Oh, no, Jay, I'll tell you right now, coming from somebody who was a former kid and still is, I love blood and guts and gore and heads getting hacked off. And I mean, that's my jam, so.
This is what I'm going to have to do. I'll probably have blood splattering, but I won't have the blood the color red. I have it like black, like an artistic type of. I'm probably gonna have to go that route. Mexican Iron Man with the promotion. Thank you so much. He got the B cover, and the B cover is absolutely dope. Thank you.
I got both covers, I think. Mine's not near me right now, but
Tom, you need to crack that bad boy open when you get some downtime. I know you still haven't read it.
I honestly have not had. I did open it and thumb through. Okay, Mike, you do it. That's what he's trying to do. There we go. So there's that first book there. Looks really nice.
Now that character that's pointing at the main character, that's the main villain. The kid, that evil kid at the bottom, he's the emperor of Neo Japan, Neo Tokyo. He's a very sadistic, crazy kid. Kind of puts you in the mind of Joffrey for Game of Thrones. So you're going to see some crazy stuff going on in that book. Yeah, that's it right there. That intro is crazy, very violent. And what's crazy about the beginning of that book, you see his dad get cut in half. And for some reason, this book is in schools. So I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for that. Please, I don't have time to go to jail. I don't have time to go to jail. Please don't take me to jail. I don't want to go to jail. I think
you're worrying about it too much. I'm sure a lot of schools have like Watchmen and stuff in their library. So,
and then like you see, like, oh, daddy, a little kid, and then 21 years later. I love this book. It was great.
Ninja vanish.
Thank you, Mike. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, Mike. If you enjoy that one, you're going to enjoy the next one. I promise you. You're going to enjoy the next one. It's
so, of course, your influence, we've talked about this before, but just so maybe if there's somebody new here, of course, you're heavily influenced by the Ninja Turtles. Of course, you and I have bonded over that several times.
Tom, you already know, me and you have been on streams where I express my love for the Turtles, man. So, yes, of course, you have Ninja Turtles in this. You have a lot of manga influences in this. And I just wanted to take it back. I wanted to take people back to the 90s, to the early 90s, when everybody was a little bit younger and content was real good, movies was real good. I wanted to take them back to that time. But yes, the Ninja Turtles are very heavily influenced by this. And believe it or not, the Ninja Turtles, and I know my Ninja Turtle fans out there know this, the Ninja Turtles are heavily influenced from Daredevil, the Daredevil character in Marvel.
You know what's messed up, Mikey?
What?
That would be the last issue that came out before the movie.
And that's
guess what? Cover. You want to hear something? You ready for this, Tom? This is a surprise on there. Ready? Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
See this? Like I don't know that. See this one here?
Oh,
Batman.
Dope.
Okay, look closer. These are going out to you
dope
this week. Look.
Are you kidding me? Who the hell?
I got it signed.
Eastman.
You shithead.
He got Eastman to sign it.
To Tom Connors Jr. It's going out to you this week.
Oh,
Surprise!
wow. Oh, wow.
Surprise!
Mikey.
These are yours, baby. They're going out this week.
Mikey.
I was gonna do it on Tuesday on Midnight Sedge After Dark, but since we're live now, these are yours, baby. They're going out this week.
Oh. Well,
Tom,
he knows.
He just gave you the
Wow.
gifts of off gifts, bro.
No kidding, bro. Like, that's amazing, Mikey. Holy shit.
Like,
well, he already got me an Axel Foley figure that hasn't shown up. Did you ever check on those, Mike?
Yeah, I have no idea where. I think we may have gotten jacked because I never got a refund and we never got our Axel Foley.
Yeah, you might want to jump on that one because those were what the fuck's up with that. But no,
these are in hand. These are going out to you tomorrow, brother.
Oh wow. Well, Mikey knows I've been suffering from Wuhan number 19, so thank you for that, man. I appreciate it.
The Kobe.
That's awesome.
Kevin Eastman is one of my big influences. Peter Lord, those two guys are my biggest influence. I actually sometimes when I get downtime, I just read their story to success because man, they just went all out, man. They was broke, they didn't have any money, and they had to loan money from their uncle because they just had that belief that they was gonna do good, but I don't think they knew how good they was gonna do with that issue 1 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And one of my holy grails, I hope I could get that number 1, but it's rare, man. It's rare to find that number 1 that those guys came out with.
Oh yeah, those are expensive.
It's rare, man. Like it's super duper rare.
Well, we have another guest joining us. This person I don't think you ever met, Jay. And Mikey knows him though. This guy, he hangs out with Valiant Renegade. He's elusive. He pops in and out here and there. He's like a super spy. His name is WDW Pro.
He's in, he's out. Who can know who this masked man might be behind the blue, goofy-looking avatar?
Man,
hey, what's up, Jay?
Your voice gives me shimmery feelings, like.
Hey! Keep it in the booty shorts like Namor, like in the movie.
What up, WDW Pro?
Yeah, welcome, buddy. So you guys just got done talking over there on Valiant stream, I see.
We did. We chatted it up about the Twitter situation and how it impacts entertainment. Talked a little bit about Black Panther Wakanda Forever, box office results, where that's going with Strange World, and all kinds of good stuff over there. But happy to be on here. What are you guys chatting about?
Even though the mood is high, I want to give a quick rest in peace to the greatest Power Ranger that ever walked this planet Earth, the Green Ranger. Dang, I can't believe I forgot his name. He's the greatest Power Ranger. I know him as Tommy, but what's his name? You guys don't watch Power Rangers.
Jason David Frank is who you're referring to.
Jason David Frank.
Jason David Frank. Rest in peace, man.
Actually, we were just finishing up our discussion with Jay about his new book coming up. Your timing is actually perfect, Pro. Was going to grab some super chats here and get into whatever we're going to discuss next. We got Leonida's Dark Star. I think I'm saying that right.
Leonidas
as a new member. Thank you so much. Let me see. I didn't see what level it was. It is too far up there for me to see, probably. No, here we go. Minimum effort puppy. It's Mikey's favorite video. So for those who don't know, who are new here, because it's the Sunday show, during the week we do stickers for our new members. Like this one here is the minimum effort puppy.
You know what? That's not minimum effort. I just realized because Bambino the Wonder Chihuahua doesn't even do that.
Well, then send me videos of that. I mean,
that would be called no effort.
We already have a lazy puppy, so
yeah, even below lazy puppy is.
Well, that's what you say. Is he's kind of like below lazy puppy? Yeah, see, at least lazy puppy has the ambition to get on an iRobot Roomba.
Right.
See.
Hey man, that's too cute, man. Don't be showing stuff like that. That's too cute, man.
How your Roomba secretly gets a workout while you're gone for the day.
And then on that note, yeah, Waltman says the first Kevin Conroy, now JDF. Geez, 2022 has been rough. Now I just heard some actress from Supernatural passed away.
Oh, don't even.
Yeah, I just saw that. I forgot the name, but Those two made most of the 90s childhood. Yeah, for me,
He did.
That's the thing. I was going to let you guys, if you wanted to talk about JDF or whatever, go for it. But to me, like Power Rangers was a bit late to the game. Like I was
about to say
it
was my because I was talking with Dark Council about that too. And most of Dark Council, they in their 40s. I'm still in my 30s, and they couldn't relate to that Power Ranger thing, but I could, because I remember when the Power Ranger show first came on to Fox. I was in like the 3rd grade, 4th grade. And it just blew me away because I'd never seen anything like that on television. And come to find out, I think the guy named is Saban, the guy that bought the rights to the Power Rangers.
Yep.
The only thing he did, which was genius and made him a millionaire, he took the Power Rangers from Japan, used that footage when they fight, and had the kids just acting. Now, from every blue moon, the kids will take off the helmet and you'll see their faces in the suit. But most of the time, that's not them in the suit.
No, it's stuff from over in Japan. Yeah,
that was from Japan. That dude was a genius for that. So I'm going to do that one day. I'm going to steal something from Japan, bring it over here, and make millions of dollars.
Oh, don't think they didn't do that to us all the time, probably.
Well, it's actually why the first season was a little bit discombobulated, is because they were trying to take these pieces of footage from stories that you really couldn't convert completely over with the characters they had come up with to make it popular to American kids. And so then they were trying to retrofit those into the new narratives they had come up with. There was also a disparity, if I recall correctly, there was a disparity in the quality of the costumes they had that they were able to budget for the Western market versus the Eastern market. So all interesting stuff on how they did that and how they fit it together. But very sad. Of course, it's always sad when somebody takes their own life, and that seems to be what happened.
Right.
So I would just remind everybody in the audience, if you're in a situation where you don't see a way out, where it's all darkness, and you just you're in that moment of despair, find somebody who thinks the most of you and stay close to them. Find the person who wants what's best for you. And even though you may not see any way through a situation, we never want to lose somebody. Your life really does matter.
Always reach out.
It's very sad.
Somebody cares out there. I promise you somebody does.
Yeah, and see, Donnie here, he was perfect age. He said he was a 1st grader when the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers came out. Oh, yeah.
It was that generation right there. It was that certain generation. See, I said 3rd, he said 1st. That makes sense.
Yeah. Mikey, no, I think you're roughly the same age as me, right?
Yeah, I'm a little older than you, so
you're actually older than me. So yeah, Power Rangers be way out of your purview.
So Mikey, you didn't really care that much for Power Rangers, huh?
No, I have no idea who they are or what they are.
Yeah. Like I was already starting junior high by the time they came around. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Pro?
I'm as old as my tongue and a little older than my teeth. But if you get that movie reference, good luck. But I'm amazed though, because didn't Power Rangers come out in the same time frame as Batman the Animated Series? Aren't those
roughly?
both?
Yes.
Kind of, sort of. Yeah.
Isn't that funny though, that even people who are older than the target group for Power Rangers probably still were going back and watching Batman the Animated Series and the X-Men animated series because they were that good.
So for me, Pro, the Kevin Conroy was a huge loss for me.
Oh yeah.
But that series was written for. I mean,
that's the thing. It hit adults and kids. Yeah.
But it was written for adults, and kids and kids could watch it. But it was really written for adults. Power Rangers is not an adult, at least not at the time that I was that age.
The original Mr. Freeze.
I'm gonna say this real true, Pro.
Go for it.
Yeah. Now I was just saying this, Pro. With the Japan market, the Japan content. If it's not really video games, it's hard for Westerns.
I'll go with it.
It's hard for them to get attached because there's a lot of people that still can't get into anime and manga.
Sure, yeah.
I think that's a good place to really kind of go with, like, because again, it may be a generational thing. Because that's like why I think if maybe I was more into Power Rangers, I was a little younger and got into Power Rangers, I might be more accepting of anime and manga. Because that's the thing is, I have a tough time with it. Because me growing up, my exposure to that kind of animation was stuff like Speed Racer. So,
Yeah.
so like to me, like that's just kind of like, and a lot of times that's really what it is just the style of it. I just can't
Yeah.
find myself getting into. I'm more in that. I was raised on Looney Tunes, Filmation, and Disney. You know,
Yeah.
So those are very different styles from what anime is. But now I can see somebody transitioning from Power Rangers to anime very easily. And
So looking back at
Yeah.
at the Batman series, I was bringing up the Mr. Freeze episode. I think that's
Sorry.
I think that's a great example of an episode that really, I mean, even today strikes, with adults and would mostly go over the head of kids. They're really not going to understand the depth of what that character is presenting in the story there. But also, I think it's interesting that when Power Rangers came out, Japan really had two mega hits on their hands that may have transformed the generation that came after Mike and after you, Tom, because they had Pokemon also.
Yes,
So you had
that's
these
another
two
good point,
massive
yeah.
phenomenons that took off at the same time and may have created an opportunity, a potential in the market then for Japanese properties to come through, which they did. And that those
Yeah.
two properties may have been the gateways to it.
I think you're right. I mean, we were kind of primed with Optimus Prime, for instance, and Transformers being kind of a similar thing, an
Sure.
import. And then, down the road, we had a few other things like people are bringing up Macross. And I remember some markets that became a thing, like not everywhere. Like when I got older, I was able to watch channels that had like Macross and some of that other stuff on it. So I was aware of that. And Voltron was another one I remember earlier on. Like that was a thing when Power Rangers come out, I'm like, we already did this. It was called Voltron.
Yeah, you're right.
And some of those toys were sort of interchangeable too. I'm trying to remember now. So Voltron's outside of my familiarity very much, but I do remember that the Voltron toys, and you guys can help me clarify this, but weren't some of those toys the little animal-like robots that formed into some sort of larger
Honestly,
Megazord?
I'm sure there's
work?
differences, but like, yeah, to me, from what I saw, the Megazord they created or whatever looked just like Voltron.
Yeah, it's the same exact idea.
Yeah,
It's
like
the
I
same
mean,
thing.
Yeah,
right
okay.
down to the same designs and everything. Like they were lions in Voltron, and what did they
Because I
do?
remember
No,
when
they
Power
were
Rangers came out, I was like, I've seen these toys before. What is this? Sorry,
Yeah.
I may have stumped everybody with that. Let me clarify.
No, I know what you're
Since
talking
I
about.
was
Because I was
like,
gonna say, I know
what
they
the hell
eventually
is he
used like
talking about?
dinosaurs and stuff. My kid brother was the one who watched the show. I watched it in mere passing.
The
So,
Well, I
like,
just remember I
season
saw
they
like
was-
this cat. There was this
The
cat
first-
that had wheels on it, and it fit into this bigger piece. And I was like, I've seen that toy
Yeah.
somewhere else. When the Power Rangers came out. Now I get it. It was connected with the Voltron
The first
stuff.
season of Power Rangers, they was all dinosaurs. They was
okay,
all
that's
yeah.
where that's in my head. Yeah, okay.
Saber-toothed tiger is the cat thing then.
Yeah, the
was the
saber-tooth
yellow
tiger
one.
was the yellow ranger. The pink ranger was the pterodactyl. The red ranger was a T-Rex. The black ranger was a mastodon. The blue ranger was a triceratops, and the guy that passed away, he was a dragon.
Yeah.
And he had his own Zoid because he was like the baddest of the whole group. Like he started off, they was fighting against him, and he was wiping the floor with them like a few episodes. He made a big impact on the show. Voltron is amazing.
Yeah, it's just too bad to hear about the actor. Again, like I wish I had more to say about him. Sadly, I don't. But I see a lot of you guys in the chat throwing out some love. So sorry for
he was
your...
in the first. He was in the first movie that they did, the Power Rangers
I
movie.
vaguely remember the movie. I did see the movie because somebody's like, "Oh, you got to see the movie. It's great." I was like, "All right, I was all right." It was like, for what it was.
I'm gonna put it like this: it was great for that time, but if you look back, it didn't age well.
Oh, I'm sure it ages
seldom
like
does.
Secret of the Ooze.
Sounds like
I
my
hear-
sex
yeah.
life. It was great back in the day, but didn't age too well.
Speaking
It's
of
just sad
Ivan
because
Ooze,
I was on a show not too long ago. I mean, maybe last week, and they were doing different voices and things. And I've done some voice work in the past, and so they started doing some Power Ranger stuff, and so I switched over to sounding like the little alpha robot from the original Power Rangers. And in that voice, I made a joke about how much cooler the Green Ranger was than all the other Power Rangers. And then a week later, we're on here talking about he's passed away from a very sad ending. And so it's just, you always want those, you always want your heroes to stick around. And so I hate it for a generation that was brought up really looking up to him. It's really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do remember the actor. I remember the character here and there. I wish I had more to say about him. But he will be missed clearly by his fans. So Elf is in the house though and says, maybe go Chinese way instead of red blood. It's white liquid. Okay.
I kill me.
Because I think I was talking about the Wuhan flu I got.
Well, if it doesn't end with "ha, I kill me," then it's not really Alf. That's an imposter, sir.
It
Get
is
your blue
imposter,
check. Let's
but
go.
He's a very good imposter. We do enjoy him. Your Muslim uncle says Dragon Sword, rip JDF, and peace to the family and friends. Prayer. Yes, indeed. Then we got Jim Watari, who sent you some postage money, Mikey, for the comic books.
Woo! Thank you.
There you go. I'll have to get that off to you. Thank you, Jim. That'll help expedite things. Lord Kamina 2 says, Mike, watch the series I sent you on Twitter. The main character is a combo of you, Han Solo, and Captain Kirk. Wait a
What
minute.
series you talking about, Mike?
How the hell?
Wait, what?
Yeah, like,
Hold on.
did you
Twitter?
write it, Mike? I mean,
Wait a minute, where?
this is Mike pitching a show. Okay, here's the show. It's a very cute brown Mexican man who is a lot like Han Solo, Captain Kirk, and me.
I just don't know
Baddest
how
man
one
on
person can
planet
hold so
Earth.
much bravado.
And then
That's
he'd be
the
like, and
baddest-
every episode he gets the girl.
That's
Oh,
the
that's
baddest
like
man on
Captain
planet
Kirk
Earth. Han
and
Solo
Mike,
and Captain
man.
Kirk put together. Han
One man
Solo and
can't hold
Captain
that
Kirk.
much bravado.
That's what I'm saying. That's like a show Mikey would have pitched himself for
Yeah.
himself.
I'd invest in that.
He's
Lord
the coolest
Kamina.
mofo on the planet. What show are you talking about, Lord Kamina?
No,
Yeah.
he says that he must have sent it to me on Twitter, so I got to find it on Twitter after the show.
Okay, well, you can just say it in the chat, so we know what show it is.
Oh,
people
I
are
don't know. I
curious.
got to find my notifications.
Well, not you. I said he can.
Oh,
He's just got to say it. Somebody who really impressed me, Mike,
yes.
because I saw your figure. Robert Meyer Burnett was showing it off again.
Yeah, on Saturday. On that
And
last
you know
night.
what? It's a good thing you didn't send me one because I could have just replaced you. All your phrases are right there. And the man who put that together is with us right now, Mr. Andy Masterson. So, Andy, if you were to send me one of those voice boxes, I can just replace Mikey when he's sick with that.
Wait, what? Hold on, replace me? What?
Well, just the vocal
Is that
part.
the real mic or is that the voice box? I'm confused now.
I know, right?
Oh,
It says
It
that.
doesn't sound like him. It's a little off, really.
It's Santa Mikey.
what the hell is
that.
that?
We got Santa Mikey.
Oh my God, are you drinking again? What are you doing? You're like, I'm like,
Mikey,
I'm
that
the
look like
fourth-
you for real though, bro. That
See-
look just like you.
Isn't Andy good?
This is the beauty of 6-scale collecting is the mix and match. You can have a Mikey for all seasons.
I love that he still has black pants on there. That's awesome. He's like, I'm not going to wear those damn Santa pants.
Now, technically, Tom, Mark S47 did all the voice work, all the computer work on that. I just did
What
the
did you
repaint.
just? Did he steal all the vocal from like?
Midnight
Yes.
Six live streams.
Oh wow,
he-
cool.
he-
I figured you just did the voices for him, Mike.
No. So Mark, I had no idea Mark was doing this. It was a surprise. Andy and Mark surprised me. So when I got mine and opened it up, I had no idea. They said plug it in. I'm like, why? The light battery. It has batteries. The lights go on. They're like, plug it in. So I plugged it in, and I'm like, holy shit! So they grabbed all of these clips from either Doomcock streams or Midnight Zed streams.
Yeah, it's like Mikey going like, "What? No,
yeah, no.
Arriba, I am here." He's still like-
Arriba, andale. And then there's another one.
Yeah.
where I go,
Rabbit chicken.
Mike, shoo.
Yeah, what happened was I
Uh.
went to repaint that and repaint the regular Iron Man as Mexican Iron Man, and I knocked off one of the wires inside. So I contacted Mark because he does all this electronics work. He made his own R2 unit and everything like that. So he said, "Yeah, I can do it." Like, wait a second, is this for Mexican Iron Man? So then we started talking. He said, "Like, I got a better idea." So he went and started did his thing. He collected all these samples and put all the little switches in. I sent him the base, and he just kind of hollowed out the base, and we put the thing together, and he sent up. I just put a little thing on top, and we sent it off, and and there it was, and there was Mikey was born.
That's awesome.
Mini Mikey.
Mini Mikey. Speaking of Mike, Lord Kamina says Mike watched a series. Okay, so did we find out what series this was?
No, I can't bring it up on Twitter right now.
Is Lord Kamina still with us in the chat?
He has to.
I haven't seen him say anything. If you're still listening, Lord Kamina, we're curious what show it is. Oh, here we go. I didn't go back far enough. Deep Space 60. This does sound like a show that he made.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Is this a real show?
No, but
if not, we need to make this a thing.
It probably is a real show. We can't show it though.
Where Mikey is the star and he's basically Han Solo meets Captain Kirk. I think we can get behind this. Deep Space 69.
I haven't returned my green booty short. Pro, did you hear that I was going to go see Wakanda in green booty shorts and pointed ears and a nose ring?
I told him he had to buy a bunch of tickets for black people and guard him on the way to the theater.
Well, I just want to know if he comes out looking the same as when he went in. That's just all I want to know.
Well, he had an issue. It seems that a couple nights before the show, he was entertaining a beautiful young woman when her husband decided to come home.
Oh my God,
and he had to exit through I don't remember how many story window.
Were the green shorts left upon the branches of a tree on a
floor? More like he ended up having to have surgery on his arm.
I've been looking up to. I've been reading WDW Pro and looking up to this man for literally probably years, and you guys are about to destroy what's left of my reputation.
We're just making shit up. No, he worked too
I've just
hard
been
this
thinking,
tax
Mike.
season.
I've been thinking now that you've got an action figure, you really should go in and just do the recording session where you do like all of the famous lines that other action figures have had. You could do. Mike says, "I've got a snake in my boots." I mean, the options are just almost limitless here.
Oh, Lord. Actually, no, this is a joke that's been going around. Mikey actually worked too hard during tax season this year and overdid it. And between streaming and taxes and everything, clicking on the mouse too much, and he had to get a little operation done on his arm. At least that's what he's telling
carpal
us.
tunnel, eh?
Yeah. Frozen shoulder. Carpal tunnel turned into tennis elbow, turned into frozen shoulder.
So, yeah, definitely need to get your stretches in during tax season, Mike. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
You can't leave it sitting on the armrest.
I know.
You might have to make some more of these Mexican Iron Man figures, Andy. Looks like CC wants to buy one. I want one.
You're going to need to glue one of the arms at the pivot point in the shoulder.
Hey, but you know what? The only thing we didn't do, Andy, is make sure that it's anatomically correct. We're going to need to put a pencil in them shorts.
Hey, Andy, if you could change the wording on the boxes so it says semi-fully posable because it's just like the real one, you're going to need to do that.
Yeah, in mine, I want mine to have a special voice. It says, "There's a snake in my trousers."
We'll have to work on that, getting that recording.
Say that right now, Mike.
There's a snake in my trousers.
Oh, we got to get a clean take.
Hold on, do it without me. Okay, here we go.
There's a snake in my trousers.
That was awesome.
and Mark is in the chat, so I'm sure he's clipping that.
Yeah, he's like, I was going to make a soundboard.
Back to entertainment news.
Yes. So Jay, you and I have talked a little bit about DC stuff, and you, of course, were a huge Snyder fan.
Yes,
there's a lot of people out there trying to feed a bunch of scoops.
Lies.
But if you've noticed, what's funny is I've been pretty quiet lately. Have I not? But before that, I was pretty vocal.
Yes. Well, Tom, you like the sensei. You pretty much know your stuff. I should have been listening the entire time. You was right about a lot of stuff, and
I just noticed it too. I was saying, like, all these people are saying, "Oh, so and so's in talks for this directing gig, and this person's doing this and that and the other." It's like nobody knows anything right now except for James Gunn and Peter Safran, and that's what I've been maintaining for the past couple weeks. Yes.
He to let the people know in the chat. There's been a lot of people in the DCU realm, saying they know this and people sign this and this movie coming out and it was a fan that asked James Gunn, "Is all this true?" And James Gunn pretty much said, "No one knows except me and Peter. We the only ones that know this stuff." So basically, if you're hearing all this stuff that's happening in the future, they're lying. They're
Yeah,
lying.
they probably don't know what they're doing yet. Let's just be real. This is way out there.
That's true.
And there's negotiations that have to go on behind the scenes with contracts and picking up actors and all that sort of thing. So you're talking about stuff that's still in the theory. Still in the theory.
I want to
theory
ask you
realm.
guys something though. James Gunn, he haven't been talking about Black Adam at all. I think Black Adam, y'all guys correct me if I'm wrong, Black Adam hasn't broke even yet.
And
Do you
won't.
guys think that that's not making them want to hire Henry Cavill as Superman in the future? Do you think they would reboot?
Here's the thing. This whole Henry Cavill hasn't signed on to anything. I don't know where this is coming from. Because Henry himself has said he's back.
Okay.
And they even said one of the first things they're gonna do, not the first, but one of the first things they're gonna do is get a Superman movie off the ground. Now, I do go back to my early reporting when everybody was first reporting that he was back, is that I had said that I had heard that he wanted to hear a pitch first before he signed on to anything. But I said, so whatever it was they must have told him was good enough in September that they rushed him into the studio, shot the cameo, and shot that Instagram post that he did. And he confirmed that later on, that they went and they did that all in a whirlwind in September. So like anybody who's reporting all that shit before September that he had already shot this cameo and stuff was wrong. And that's what I had said. I had heard there was a place for him. They want him there, but Zaslav has supposedly said that if we can get Henry Cavill, great, but it doesn't matter because I want a Superman for the next 10 years. And that really lines up with everything that was coming down the road. Like, I mean, Mikey, of course, will be my main witness here to just about everything I've said has come to fruition. And Zaslav has pretty much said verbatim in most cases later on. So whoever my source is there, I can't say. I have a couple within the vicinity, let's say, that have been really, really spot on. And the only things that haven't really come to fruition yet that I've heard discussed and talked about was just the fate of Amber Heard and Ezra Miller at this point. We know the ultimate fates, but as far as their fate in the current films, because I've heard that it is not off the table yet that they may reshoot Flash with somebody else. And
you think it depends on? I'm sorry. Do you think it depends on what Aquaman and the Flash does, box office wise?
No, see, that's the thing is I think Flash is going to get pushed off again because Aquaman already got pushed to next December. So I have a good feeling they're going to reshoot somebody else for Mira. They're gonna shoot out Amber Heard, I bet.
I really
since they got to reshoot it anyway.
It's Emilia Clarke. I really hope and pray it's Emilia Clarke for Game of Thrones reasons.
I'm not so sure because she was asked about it, I believe, and she had said, like she personally hadn't talked to anybody, but she wasn't sure if she could fit it in her schedule right now because she does have a ton of shit. And then she also, this was the same time she brought out all that info about her brain damage situation. So that, to me, that was kind of her way of coming out and saying, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to juggle that in with everything else I'm doing, but never say never, because that was the name that was bantied about quite a bit. But I know there's other choices out there that they were looking into. I just didn't have any names. I had more names for the Flash. Like they were almost definitively sure they were going to replace the Flash. Well, they already kind of said they're going to replace him after this, right? We already knew that, but they were trying to keep that out of the press, but that didn't last. So,
Tom, do you think any of the speculation with Emilia Clarke might be due? Like, I mean, she's like 36 now, and if they're looking to do like a trilogy, that's going to put her at 46. And women and aging, it can be a little easier to tell than with men sometimes.
Dude, she still looks like she's 12.
Hey, I agree.
You got a point. No, but he's right. She is almost 10 years older than Amber, really, because isn't Amber like 30? What? She's not that old. She's only like 30, 31. Not even.
Oh, I didn't know she was that young.
And she was only like in her 20s when she got Mira. So, like, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. She's not that old.
Oh, okay.
Well, now hopping off the discussion about the female actors for a minute. Let me just say this, because there are a lot of people in the chat talking about, where the rumors are coming from about movies that are off in the distance or who's not coming back and that sort of thing. And let me just say this to everybody who's in the audience out there. And, I've only been on the show once before and just briefly. People may not even know who I am. In fact, I don't think anybody does, I hope. But
oh my God, everyone knows who you are. Are you crazy?
But
He means for real,
thing.
Mike.
Yeah. But here's the thing. If you are listening to people who got everything wrong about what's happening in the DCU right now versus Tom, who's been right, if you're listening to those people and taking it seriously, you are a glutton for being wrong. Like how often do you want to be wrong if you just keep going back to the same sources that keep giving you the same BS rumors? They're not real. They don't have contacts inside there. They're being mocked by people in the industry. And it's not because that they've got real leaks like what we've been seeing the last 2 weeks out of a different studio, but it's because they're demonstrably wrong over and over again. So
you know what it is, though?
Sources, you just want to be wrong.
I've discovered they tell people what they want to hear.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly right.
That's all it boils down.
You're selling hope, unfortunately, and I see the same thing with the Pattinson thing, which again I've maintained both with the Pattinson business and Snyder. I've said we don't know if Snyder may come back and direct something, but we definitely are not going back to the Snyderverse, that's for sure. Or he would be the one in James Gunn's place. It's up to James Gunn now. Yeah.
Now, Tom, as a Snyderverse fan, as a Zack Snyder fan, I absolutely agree. I'm a realist, and I understand business. And just 9 times out of 10, 10 out of 10, Zack Snyderverse is not going to happen. Maybe somewhere, some years down the line, he direct the film, but I think he's more happy at Netflix. He's working on his own IP. He's going to be making more money working on his own IP. And I truly believe in my heart of hearts that Rebel Moon on Netflix is going to blow us away.
And again, I could be wrong. He could come back and direct a Batman film or something like that. But all this talk of Andy Muschietti taking on a Justice League movie and all this other stuff is just complete nonsense. And everybody jumping to the conclusion that Pattinson's going to be brought in the DCU is another bit of nonsense because we don't know yet. The only people who know what's going to happen, as I've maintained, are James Gunn and Peter Safran. But one thing we do know is there's been a lot of rumors about Ben Affleck signing on again, and he has been heavily involved with all these reshoots. And I would imagine that he would be the one that David Zaslav would want because, unfortunately, and this is what I'd heard for anybody who's a fan of the Batman with Pattinson, was that it was not the big hit they were hoping it was going to be. And what it did was send mixed signals to everybody inside Warner. If it had been this huge $1 billion hit, we would have went down this road where we're getting nothing but separate superhero movies. They would have killed the Snyderverse then. Now, the problem is it didn't out and out flop, because now if it would have out and out flopped, we probably would have got the Snyderverse back in an instant. But what they did do is make about $700 million. So that showed them that people weren't as hung up on the Snyderverse as, certain people may want to believe. And then I also heard later on that, about 60% of the people checked out during the Snyder cut, and it only made about $19 million on video. So that is not a win situation for them as far as money-wise. And then later, those facts actually came out, even though some people are like, oh, they're just fudging it and trying to say this thing. It's like, well, I was hearing the same thing back when. So there's got to be some truth to it. And the thing is people need to understand, the Snyderverse is what got us here in the first place. Whether you love it or hate it, it was not something that was universally embraced. And what Zaslav wants to do is something that will be universally embraced. And he thinks the best way of doing that, from what I've been told, and it seems to be his mantra right now, and that is give us the characters, actors we want, Superman, Henry Cavill, for instance, but put him in a movie where he feels like he's Superman. And that was something that I was told a while back. And he himself, David Zaslav, basically came out and said almost in the exact same words in a recent talk where he had said, I'm a huge Superman fan. This character is very important. We have not had a Superman movie in over a decade, right? Like, so we need something like that right now. And he knows that the DC films should be bankrolling everything else in the studio. And he has said that too. So like 90% of everything I've been told, he has said or said almost exactly like I was told. Almost everything has seemed to come to fruition the way I've been told. I even brought up how James Gunn is one they want. He's been wine dined in 69, but I'd be surprised if he took it. I was surprised when he took the job because I didn't expect it. But then again, after thinking about it long and hard, I'm like, you know what? It makes absolute sense, especially if he's got somebody like Peter Safran with him there. Safran's probably the one that talked him into doing it. And those two together, I think and hope, are going to be the guys to come in and make DC give Disney an uppercut right now, because they're going to need it, and they need a wake-up call. They need a smack to the face, and they have been doing just that. Like, it's been a 1-2 punch ever since the announcement that Henry Cavill was back, added in with James Gunn is taking over the DC universe. Those two things overshadowed the last few things that Disney have done. And regardless of the box office of Black Adam, which was kind of the original question, Fatal J, which, because that was a holdover, right? To Zaslav, it's kind of more or less a barometer. He's just kind of checking things out. I don't think they were expecting it to do very well. What it did do was better than any other opening that The Rock has had on his own previously, and that was a win.
I heard that.
And what they're supposedly going to do, I heard, is it's going to drop on video on demand this week or next week. And at that point, they'll be doing the $19.99 rental fee or $24.99 sale, which is similar to what they did with the last Bond film. And that's what helped the Bond movie get over its hump it needed to make money. So
you think we're going to get a Black Adam too? Do you think we're going to get a Black Adam? I think so,
or at least I think he'll show up in other films. I don't know about a direct Black Adam 2. Because here's the thing, Shazam 2, yeah, Shazam 2 is going to be a big factor in that, because I heard the movie sucked. I heard the test screenings didn't go well.
The trailer looked like it sucks. The trailer doesn't look like I need to see it. It just doesn't look good. The first Shazam was okay. It was decent. It actually surprised me that it was okay. I thought it was going to suck, but it was okay. This trailer here looks like it's going to flat out suck.
Well, and I mean, something I had said, I don't know, what was it, about 2 weeks ago, Mikey? I don't know if you were listening or you were there. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm here.
Where I said everything was kind of in a holding pattern.
Right. I mean, Tom, you keep saying like, I'm mostly right. Tom, I can't think of any time you've been wrong.
Well, it's because not everything has come to fruition yet. That's why.
But that's a timing thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, James said this, and this is the tweet that Jay was talking about. It says, I'll bring it up here on screen, because I think you really need to listen to what he's saying. And this is what I was saying about the holding pattern. And I'll explain this.
Tom, let me say this before you read that real quick. Because you know me, Tom. We've been knowing each other for a year or two, maybe even longer than that. And you know how much I love the Snyderverse. But I will admit this. I'm a Man of Steel. Man of Steel is my favorite hero movie. But I will admit that is not the traditional Superman. Like that scene where he didn't save his father. His father told him not to save him in a hurricane and he died. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. As much as I like you, Zack Snyder, as much as I'm a fan of your work, that is not a Superman move. Superman would have saved his father regardless of him saying, don't save me. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah. No, I agree totally. And that's where the problem with it lies, in my personal opinion. Yes. As a movie, it looks beautiful. It's an interesting take on an Elseworld Superman story, but it's not Superman. Yeah.
Yeah. And BVS, how he was all depressed, and even though I love BVS, that still is not Superman. The way he was all mean and grouchy throughout the whole movie, that's not Superman. So I'm interested to see what Henry Cavill and James Gunn do in the Superman movie, because they even noticed the small things that people want to see. The curls, the brighter color suit. So it's going to be real interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what he said here is, I think I answered this yesterday, but no, unless someone is wiretapping my and Peter's private conversation, no one knows about any project or casting beyond what's already been filmed or filming besides us. Okay. So he's talking about all the stuff that's been filmed that we know out there. I think that everything is kind of stuck right now, because I think they're allowing James to also rework some things that are already out there. See, because this comes off of this question here. Let's ask again. When hopefully get to Mr. James can answer. Do somebody besides James and Peter know inside of the future plans, basically?
And I know saying, Yara. Yeah. I know Yara. For some odd reason, he's been answering a lot of Yara questions, and he just been giving a lot of insights. To the
sometimes these people pick their favorites. That's for sure.
Yeah.
What I think is interesting about that tweet is that Gunn is answering something that's obvious, You know,
Yeah.
clearly this is too far out there. So the people who are spreading the rumors, they're doing it for the clicks, you know, when it comes to what's going to happen 5 years down the road, coming out of what James Gunn has just been handed. And likely, you know, like we said, he's got to get all these contracts in place before anything materializes. But what I love about this is that at the same time he's saying this, and it's obvious, you've got James Mangold out there saying in tweets that there have been no screenings of Indy 5. And it's like, man, what a great juxtaposition between total BS and total common sense. It's wonderful. You got to love
Well,
it.
we only got you for a few more minutes here, WDW. So let's talk about that just for a minute. Because I found that quite interesting because
Nobody's watched this movie. We're going to put it out there with nobody having seen
well,
it.
here's the thing,
Millions of dollars behind it. No,
what is he doing other than gaining Doomcock more notoriety?
Well, you know,
I mean, really, in the end, because I mean, honestly, like it's like like your big
Played
brother.
right
If he's
into it.
you're bullying your big brother's bullying you, the best thing you can do is ignore him, right? That's what your mom always tells him, because if you give in to a bully, that's what they want. So, like,
here's
at that
the glorious
point,
thing about that situation. It's
just
really,
leave it be. Like,
this was awesome to watch in real time. So you've got Mangold that comes out and denies these rumors, these leaks that Doomcock is reporting on. And let's say that Doomcock is right 50% of the time. We don't know. Maybe he's right 70%. Maybe he's right 30%. Who knows, right? But when Mangold comes out and makes the denial, then it automatically raises the specter of the rumor. Now, it raises it, number one, because the idea that they haven't done any screenings on the movie is so ludicrous that if you've ever been around the industry, you know that can't be true. So then you know that it's got to be a semantics game. Is he saying that instead of the third-party screenings where they bring in focus groups, that instead they brought people from other departments at Disney and therefore it's a production screening and not a test screening? Well, we don't know. But what we do know is that the idea that people have not been watching this movie from other parts of the company, whether that's Chapek or whether that's Kennedy or whoever is screening it, you want us to believe that there are no screenings of this movie and it's 6 months out. You're telling us that it's basically in the can minus the special effects coming in, because it has to be. I mean, you're not going to do reshoots 2 months ahead, surely. And so, and it's VFX heavy because they're trying to de-age Harrison Ford a bunch in the movie. So, okay, so that's number one. So you get a ludicrous statement that then makes you go, oh, well, that can't be possibly true. So why would he say it? The second thing is that then Kathleen Kennedy's husband, Frank Marshall, comes out and dogpiles on the Doomcock. Then the third thing hits, and this is glorious. The third thing hits, and that is that Doomcock gets confirmation out of, I believe, the Daily Mail, right? The Daily Mail out of the UK.
Yeah,
Comes out and
that
reports,
article, like right after
they came out and they reported that they had insiders who had they knew the results of the screenings. Okay, so then you're in a catch-22. Here's the catch-22. This is great. Either the Daily Mail has accurate reporting and James Mangold and Frank Marshall are full of it, which is the most likely thing, or the Daily Mail doesn't have real sources and they lied and they were trying to scoop off of Doomcock without giving him credit. Either way, Doomcock comes out on top. It's just incredible. And all they had to do was never even address it or say the screenings have gone well and leave it at that. There you go.
Boom.
Goes to show you how much he got under their skin, though.
Oh, he's definitely under their skin. They're probably not going to the same parties.
I think he pissed him off because he was one of the ones that leaked the plot for Rise of Soy-Walker.
that's what's funny is this reminds me a lot of that. Remember that when that leaked out and they were like, oh, no, that's true. And then it all turned out to be true, right? Well, even then, Kathleen Kennedy had no idea what the fuck she was talking about halftime when it came to Rise of Skywalker, or Rise of Palpatine.
Rise of Palpatine.
It ain't Rise of
Palpatine, that's a
Skywalker,
better
it's the
way.
Rise of Palpatine.
A better way to call it.
I
Rise
would
of
just love
Well,
to
Palpatine.
Palpatine did. They took out the Skywalker bloodline. There are no Skywalkers left.
I
Yep.
would just love to be the writer at Daily Mail who got emails saying you didn't get the memo. Bad timing. You know, because it destroyed the narrative, and ultimately all of those people just want the narrative to exist. So they didn't get the memo that, oh no, we're supposed to pretend there are no screenings. No, we're pretending there are no screenings. Shut up.
The son
Even if
also
there was or wasn't,
reported-
that was what. Oh, go ahead, Andy. Sorry.
The Sun also reported. I don't know if they just copied and pasted the Daily Mails, but they also reported it.
Yeah, and I think Screen Rant ran with it too, but I wasn't sure if they were just
It's
recording Daily Mail.
They're all scooping off Doomcock, and they just don't want to say it.
They could be, but I don't know. That's the thing is, you know, that's why I don't do a lot of scoop videos or anything like that. It's like if I talk about this stuff, it's just going to be on one of these streams because I'm not one of those people that's going out there for, like, I'm sure I could have built this whole channel like up on my Warner Brothers scoops or whatever, but a lot of times I was just afraid to run with certain things because I wasn't 100% sure how accurate they were.
And that's what make you great, man, because I'm sick of these scoopers who 9 times out of 10 going off of an educated guess or a rumor that they're not sure about, but still put it out there as fact. I'm getting sick of these guys, man.
Well, I got
the thing to look for. Go ahead, Tom.
What? I'll just say I got into it a little bit with the people on Twitter as far as like the Pattinson stuff goes, and I was being a little bit of a prick about it. But there's nothing that Zaslav has said that has changed anything that I've reported. I've heard from the beginning that the Batman 2, he wanted to pitch, but it had to be only under 2 hours. They had to work on the chemistry with Batwoman or Catwoman, and it couldn't be as dark and dour, and it couldn't cost as much. And then I was hearing that that's not the case anymore. Now it's going to depend on how popular the Penguin series is. And then in his quote, if you listen to what he's saying, it almost sounds like he's saying if you want to see Pattinson again, he's going to pop up in the Penguin, but he doesn't say anything else about Batman 2 or anything beyond that. He just said we're not going to have 4 Batmen.
That was real interesting to me, Tom. Now, what is your thoughts about that? Not 4 Batman.
Well, let's let Pro take this since he's got to run here and he was going to say something else anyway. And then
I was just going to say, when it comes to scooping, I know a little bit about that. And the thing that impresses me on people whenever I look at them and say, okay, that person's legitimately got some contacts or, there's a source that's feeding them something true somewhere is, I guess, 2 different things. One is if you get a scoop that's out of left field and then it turns out to be true, so nobody's predicting it, but it's just really out there and then they've nailed it. Then, and I'll give you an example of that, okay? So an example would be when Doomcock came out and said that Indy 5 had time travel in it. Okay, that's way out there. And I think he was the first, maybe he wasn't. Whoever would have been the first on that, whoever got the lead on that Indy 5 has time travel, that's bizarro, okay? So you got to give credibility to whoever comes up with that. The other thing is that if a scooper comes out with something that's really mundane, something that's just like, it's boring, but it turns out to be true, then that person also probably has some credibility because they're reporting on sort of the nuts and bolts that happens that doesn't really get the flair. They're not doing it for clicks, in other words. So if you're doing something and you get some info out there and it's just like, oh, so they're changing the popcorn at Epcot. Well, yay. Okay. But you get it right. Kudos to that person. They're really getting some accurate information out there. So that's what I'm going to say about the scoopers.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we heard from a couple different, like, for instance, okay, there's the one scoop that nobody can really say was real or not. Was like, did Pattinson nail what's her face Zoe Kravitz on the car and get caught?
I was hoping that was true though.
That thing made the rounds, and then all of a sudden, like, we heard it from one place, we heard it from another. We just kind of totally disregarded it. Some people ran with it. Mr. H supposedly debunked it, but then out of nowhere, I'm not going to say who said it, but somebody that we know that works in the industry who we had on the show many times over. One day before the show, we were talking about something off the cuff, and he brought it up like it was common knowledge. Everybody knew it, and we're like, "Wait a minute, that's true." He's like, "Oh yeah." We're like, "Wait, everybody." We heard from Mr. H that was bullshit, and he's like, "Oh no, it fucking happened." And I trust this guy. And I trust this guy.
Fog of the car.
It's just one of those things. So, like, you hear those things, and you're right, Pro. And that's the thing is, some of these people I trust just in general because I know them, or I've known them for years. The same thing when people ask me, like, "Oh, how did you get this interview with this person and that person?" It's like, well, I know people. I just don't, I'm not going to bring up their names because then they'll get fired or in trouble or whatever. But it's just one of those things. And sometimes they don't always know the exact everything. I can get like ideas,
seldom
I can
do.
get clues, and that's the thing is, I have to kind of bounce that against other things we hear. But then sometimes there's guys where I feel like they're just doing it for the clicks, and I get that, it gets to a point where you almost have to. I mean, maybe that's why, is I've been fortunate enough that I have the main channel and we already do our thing, that I don't have to. Because I don't really even force Andre to put a bunch of our stuff into the videos. He does once in a while when it comes up, but otherwise it's just been stuff I've said on the channel during the live streams.
Don't get me wrong. I got a respect for a small few, and I mean just a handful of scoopers out there, and the ones that I have that respect for, they will flat out say, "Don't quote me on this. I heard this, but this may not be true." It's always something like that within those lines. But then I know some scoopers, like personally know some scoopers, and some of these scoopers I fell out with, they will put it out as fact that this is happening. And it's no way, no how that this is happening. It's no way. So that just tells me, like Tom, like you said, this is all for clicks. This is all for clout. This is to get the views on your channel, and that's not cool, because those lies will catch up with you, just like with James Gunn when he came out with that post. No one knows what's going on with DC, so hopefully that shuts up a lot of people with this DC scoops and all this stuff.
And I mean, it was kind of hard not to believe. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I'll just tell you how I handle it, and then I'll have to hop off. But there's two different ways, I guess. So a lot of times I get information from different sources that I can verify, and you put the information out there with the caveat that it's absolutely rumor. You just start off and say, this is rumor, this is pre-public release from the company, and therefore it can change. The other thing that happens that's been happening more often recently is so we've got a source inside the toy industry, and this person's got decades of experience, and then that person began pulling information from other people inside the toy industry. And we were able to corroborate this person's identity, but of course we're going to protect that identity. They're a source. Then what we did is we shared with permission that identity with a very select few others, so that then they could corroborate, so that when we put stuff out there, we're not just BSing and somebody else can say, oh yeah, I know what they're talking about. And that's allowed us to put out some, redacted. We have to redact some of it because it'll give away career information, and we don't want to ever do that. But we, like on That Park Place, we recently did an article about how Lucasfilm keeps their employees following the woke narrative. And that was verbatim out of somebody inside the industry. Now, can I verify that person is telling me the truth? No, I can't. Can I verify that the person's identity puts them in the position that they should be telling the truth? And if I find out it's not, then they're out? Yes, that's true. And so you have to just say, I can't verify that this person is giving me the absolute objective truth, but I can verify that they're in the position to do so. And so I would say that's the best ways to go about it. If you start presenting your scoops as fact, you're going to fall on your face, because they can't be fact if they're future.
There you go. That's a good way of looking at it too. And thank you, WDW, for hopping in here. We always appreciate the time with you. And
good meeting you, bro.
It's an honor to get to be in here with you guys. And I've never been on with Andy before. I've never been on with Jay. And so,
oh, that's right. You haven't met Andy yet either. That's right. Yeah.
I don't know how he's going to make an action figure for the avatars that are floating on the screen. But wait, we've got a hat.
Oh, let's see. You got.
Bro,
he asked for pictures. Yeah. He wants very detailed pictures. I don't know what he needs my penis pictures for. But.
And Mexican
well, it's just like in the movie, right? Namor.
He can team up with a Canadian bear.
I'm gonna have to tell Drunk. Do Drunk know you got an action figure?
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, Jay's got a whole collection.
Oh,
Jay's got a whole collection of Drunk 3PO action figures.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Well, gentlemen, you all have a great night. Everybody in the audience, great to be with you. And I hope it grows and grows.
Next time you talk to Renegade, tell him Fatal J said to put back on the cheerleading suit.
Well, you might get lucky and Valiant might show up here yet tonight. He had to go grab supper quick, but
That's right.
Oh,
In the
okay.
person, in the flesh,
Yeah.
you might get to say that. And then I guess with the cheerleading suit, there's even more flesh involved. But I'll
yes, there is.
presume that on the way out.
He went all out.
Take
man.
care, brother.
Later, everybody. Have a good one.
Later.
Have a good
Peace,
night.
brother.
Take care.
Let's get back to these super chats while we're at it. We got Lord Camino says, Tom sent the series to you and Mike and DM. I got that, buddy, and I can't wait to check it out. Looks interesting. Deep Space 69, it's called.
Woohoo.
Nikki D says, if Tim Burton directed a remake of Beverly Hills Cop, how would it differ from the original? How would the cast and tone change? Oh my God. Honestly, I don't think Tim Burton could direct Beverly Hills Cop.
No. That'd be
Johnny Depp will be cast.
Yeah, pretty much Johnny Depp would be Axel Foley.
That'd be awful.
He would find a way to not make it about him being a cop somehow. He would probably kill Axel. Axel would be a ghost trying to solve his own murder.
There'd be leprechauns.
That's it. I think that's what he'd do. And Danny Elfman, of course, would do the score instead of Harold Faltermeyer. Anybody else got anything better than that?
Dinosaurs.
You know, after seeing Coming to America 2, we don't need another Beverly Hills Cop.
Or getting them.
Yeah, we don't. Nah.
You didn't know that was shooting? Or it's almost done or done shooting?
They're working on one?
Yeah, Netflix picked up the rights a while back. The original cast back, but I'm very very cautious about it because the main storyline is about Axel's estranged daughter.
What?
Yeah. So of course they had to make Axel a bad dad.
A bad dad. Just like T'Challa in Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, he's gonna be around to pay that child support. Waltman 4 says, I think the decisions for reshoots is probably high with Amber Heard now dealing with legal issues and now trying to live outside the U.S. for technicalities. Yeah, I think that's the main reason I think that Aquaman 2 got pushed back to next December. I'll be honest with you. Mr. Tickle Trunk says, Tom's totally right. I don't know about that. If there's nothing if there's nothing there, they'd say nothing. Recall Indy 5 director going after Matt Kadish from Salty Nerd Podcast. Guilty. Yeah, for completely unprovoked did he go after Matt. And that's the other thing is nobody brought up Doomcock. You know, like Mangold's the one who invoked Doomcock.
Exactly.
That's the funny thing. So it's like, you can't even fucking sit there and pretend that he's not in your head, man. Yeah. Anyhow, with that, we are caught up on the super chats. Was there anything else going on in the world of DC that you wanted to ask me, Jay, or talk about, or anything? In that respect?
Yeah. The Ford Batman. What did Zaslav? What did he mean by that? Because I know the Ford Batman is Pattinson, Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton, and who was the fourth? The CW Batman?
I think he's referring to Batgirl.
Oh, okay.
If I had to take a wild guess in the dark. Yeah.
So what do he mean by it won't be four? It'll just be one?
I think that's kind of what he's insinuating is going forward. It'll most likely be Ben Affleck. Unless Affleck's not interested in going forward and they are going to do whatever. But I know for a fact Matt Reeves refuses to allow his Bat world to encroach the DC universe or vice versa. So
yeah,
because he wants his thing all separate. So and that doesn't really jive with Zaslav. And the other reason I say that is because the only one he is allowing to go through is Joker. Well, Joker made $1 billion. That's why.
Yeah,
because that's one thing I heard was the first thing he wanted to hear when he walked in that door in April was a pitch for the Joker 2. And that was one of the first things that got announced. It was like clockwork. That was kind of when I knew my sources were spot on, probably, because that was one of the first things I was told.
I think that it's still in a mess. Just think if the MCU, because I know they want to, Zaslav said James Gunn said they want a big, broad story that lasts for 10 years. It's not going to look right if you still have two Batmen, right?
Yeah. And I think there was a reason why Ben Affleck was on Instagram with Jason Momoa. clearly, just like they put the whole Superman thing on Instagram with a, an actual brand new image or video or whatever of Henry Cavill in the suit.
Yeah.
So I think there's something to that. I do. I think that Ben Affleck is probably playing nice because all the people that would have caused him stress are gone.
Yeah,
because that was his
that's why he
bigger
left.
thing. Yeah.
So do you think we're gonna see a Matt Reeves sequel to the Batman, or is over?
I would not put money on it unless the Penguin is a huge success.
Yeah.
And that, because that's kind of what I had heard, is right now the balance of the Batman 2 all has to do with whether or not the Penguin is successful on HBO Max, because that's when all of a sudden Matt Reeves is like, oh, we won't get a Batman 2 until at least 2025. Like, if the first one was such a success, the second one would have got fast tracked. Exactly.
And think about this. It's not strange for a one-shot Batman movie. Look at the Batman movies of the past with Val Kilmer and Clooney. So it's not a strange thing to just have a one-shot and move on to the next Batman. So you could be right. It really depends on this Penguin show.
I mean, if the Penguin's a hit, they might. But at the same time, I also said way before that I wouldn't be surprised when I first heard about the Penguin business. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Batman 2 just goes straight to HBO Max.
Wow.
They shoot it for like half the budget and send it straight to HBO Max. I would not be surprised in the least.
I think that's what's going to happen.
If it even happens, yeah.
But you know, Colin Farrell was the only he was the only good thing about that movie, in my opinion. That movie
and the series could be successful because Peacemaker was actually a pretty big success in comparison to the Suicide Squad. So
did you enjoy that? Did you enjoy Peacemaker?
Jay, I loved it all. I saw the whole thing twice. I loved it.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it too. I like it,
bro. I had a blast with that one.
Yeah.
So I don't have a definitive answer, but if I had.
No, I was just gonna say I was one of those guys that was kind of iffy about that show, and I sat down and watched it and just kind of binged it, and it was fun. It was a fun show.
Yeah, it was fun. We need more fun.
But yeah, as far as a definitive answer on the Batmans, I don't have one. But if I had to put money on anyone, I'd put it on Affleck.
Fans are gonna go nuts when that happened, man.
Well, yeah, because that's what they want, right? Like,
yeah, that's what they want. And you getting the people that Snyder picked out, but again, I'm like you, Tom. We're not gonna get the Snyderverse. Maybe we'll get Zack later on down the line, but I think it's still cool that we're getting those characters.
Jay, you know that, I don't know if you know this or not. Do you remember I was a hardcore Snyder guy, right? Do you remember that? Or did you ever know that?
Sir.
Okay, well.
Yes, I did.
I have now gone through all of the stages. I've done my 12 steps. I've gone through the various stages of grief. I am now in Snyder recovery.
Yeah.
Because I recognize that being a Snyderverse fan made my life unmanageable and out of control. And And I saw the errors of my ways, and I am now in recovery.
Because you know what? Being a hardcore Snyder fan, it can almost be cultish.
I think I was part of my own problem.
Yeah.
I got up. Did you get up at 8 a.m. with Snyder that morning that he did his own, where he watched the movie from his home?
You know I did.
I was there, bro. I was there.
Well, and right there's your proof that the guy's kind of a douchey twit, because he's the one going out there saying, I can't wait to work with Henry Cavill again. And of course, everybody's going to think that he means he's directing Man of Steel. And nobody knows who's directing Man of Steel 2 yet, except for James Gunn and Peter Safran. And they may not even know yet.
Well, I'm gonna put it like this. This is just my theory. This is not fact. See, I'm not a scooper. Zack Snyder has a monstrous cult-like fan base that would do anything for him, buy anything for him. And I think if he flat out told people, no, I'm not going back to Warner Brothers, I think he's going to lose that hardcore fan base, because that fan base helped his Army of the Dead do great numbers on Netflix based off what he did with the Snyder Cut that same year. I think he's going to use that same fan base to help with the numbers of Rebel Moon. So I don't think he's going to ever come out and say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going back to Warner. he's going to use that fan base to his advantage. You'll never hear him flat out say, no, I'm not going to work with them. I'm more happy over here at Netflix. I think he's just going to keep that mystery, and he's going to dangle hope in front of people.
He might. I mean, I know a few things about him that might change a few people's opinions about him, but I mean, I guess the main thing I could say is that he is one of the main reasons we're not getting the Snyderverse. And I know that's hard to understand for some people, but he fucked everything up because he went and got an advertising campaign involved or some shit like that. And that skewed the numbers, unfortunately, for Warner Brothers. So when Ann Sarnoff and all them were out there going, well, this is just a blah, 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 this, that, and the other. That's what was going on then. He had pissed them all off, is what he had done. Is because he had in their perspective, he had forced their hand into this in a way through the fans, but at the same time, it was going to happen regardless because Kalar wanted it to sell HBO Max. And that's what we were trying to say when our reporting was that the only reason this fucking happened is because you had a perfect motherfucking storm. And when I say that, it is a motherfucking storm because there's never, ever going to be a chance that that's going to happen again, where you have the entire regime was kicked out. You had nobody who mattered, whose feelings were going to be hurt. But what you did have was, and you guys said it, you had some overzealous fans who took it a step too far, unfortunately, with certain people.
And I'm because see, I know all about the fans. Like I know all about everything that goes on in the secrecy that the masses don't know about. Like you remember they was talking about the controversy with the bots.
Yeah,
you know, with that stuff was real, man. There's a lot of guys out there that I know admitted that yes, we're pumping bots out there. Whenever you see Zack Snyder's stuff trending, a lot of bots have to do with that. There's a lot of people that's pumping those bots into the algorithm and getting that stuff trending. It's guys that are putting big money into that.
Yeah, and see, internally they were kind of saying that Zach was doing that himself, and he kind of got busted doing that himself.
I'm not too sure about that, but I'm 1,000% sure because I know these guys who don't put big money into hashtag release the Snyder Cut, like put money into airplanes and trucks with the wrap around them. These guys are pumping that type of stuff into Twitter. To
see, and that was another thing that Script Doctor brought this up. He said he had talked to somebody and they had said something similar to that, but I think the way he had put it was, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, so I'm sorry if I'm getting it wrong, but the basics for what I got from him though was that they had how do I put this? I don't want to put words in so but basically like he had pumped up the numbers himself by doing the same kind of things, and yeah. Anyway, by using the I forgot where I was going with it, but I wouldn't be surprised,
man. At the end of the day,
so I'm not sure if Script said it on the show or not, so I don't want to say it now.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna put it like this. I'm a fan of the man's work, but the guy could be a total scumbag behind closed doors. We don't know these people. I used to look up to Michael Jordan as the best basketball player known to man. But you know Michael Jordan's history and people that's been around him and met him, he's a total douchebag. People hate
it may
him.
not even be Zach, and maybe people around him too. We don't know, but
yeah, I mean,
just in
what
general,
what I'm basically saying is we don't know these people. We don't know these people. You know,
no,
so
but I've heard enough stories. But yeah.
I know people out there in the movement that think Zack Snyder is a god and he's the perfect man and he can't say anything wrong or do anything wrong. Me as a grown man, I know better than that. You know, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not accusing Zack Snyder of being bad. I'm not accusing Zack Snyder of being perfect. I just
we got some breaking fucking news right here. This is weird.
Okay, let's drop it.
The Wokey Wokes have won over at Disney.
Let's speak on it. What happened?
6 just sent this to me. 6, you can get in here if you're not sleeping or at work.
Oh, snap.
Disney shocker. Bob Iger is back as CEO.
Let me tell
Bob Chapek out.
Wow.
Just when WDW Pro leaves, what the fuck?
Holy shit.
Yeah, this is definitely big breaking news here. What the fuck? let's read. This is coming via Deadline. After less than 2 years in retirement, Bob Iger has returned as the CEO of the Walt Disney Company. The board has just sent out a notice that Bob I is back and recently re-upped Bob Chapek is out. Read the announcement here. The Walt Disney Company announced today that Robert Iger is returning to lead Disney as chief executive officer effective immediately. Mr. Iger, who spent more than 4 decades at the company, including 15 years as a CEO, has agreed to serve as Disney CEO for 2 years with a mandate from the board that sets strategic direction for renewed growth and to work closely with the board in developing a successor to lead the company at the completion of his term. Mr. Iger succeeds Bob Chapek, who has stepped down from his position. We thank Bob Chapek for his service to Disney over his long career, including something went down, navigating the company through the unprecedented challenges of the pandemic, said Susan Arnold, chairman of the board. The board has concluded that as Disney embarks on an increasingly complex period of industry transformation, Bob Iger is uniquely situated to lead the company through this pivoted period. Mr. Iger has the deep respect of Disney's senior leadership team, most of whom he worked closely with until his departure as executive chairman 11 months ago.
Something bad happened.
He is greatly, I think he walked. I think he had enough. Wow.
Disney's doomed now. They're done.
They're done for.
Because he can't make a good decision to save his life.
Where's Valiant or WDW when you need them? Holy shit.
Come on, Valiant. We need you here, man.
Hurry back, man. Round. Holy shit. This is dropping goddamn news.
I just hit up John 3PO. He don't believe me right now.
Yeah, send him the link if you want.
Okay, yeah, this is big.
This is big news.
Because Iger is responsible for all this mess to begin with.
He is. Absolutely. I'm extremely optimistic for the future of this company and thrilled to be back on the board and to return as CEO, Mr. Iger said. Disney and its incomparable brands and franchises hold a special place in my heart, blah, 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 blah. But holy shit.
I was looking at pictures of Chapek recently, and I was like, man, this dude looks stressed out. I just said that to myself. He looked like a very stressed out man lately.
Well, Iger loaded the place up with all of the SJWs for his resume, so he could run for president, and which created the monster, and now the monster's eating. It's a parasite destroying the entire company. And
well, I guess we're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Phew. Man, this is certainly not a solution. Putting back the guy who made all your problems, unless, of course, and I'm sure that they don't realize that he made all the problems. And it's sad because really all they have to do is listen to the stuff that you guys report, and then it's pretty clear.
They don't listen to us for shit.
Oh, I know.
Here's what happened. Hold on, let me talk for a second. This is what happened. What happened here is that these woke ass investors, the ESG types, combined with the people that were enemies of Chapek inside the company, all of this turned into like what you call the perfect storm, where the third wave of the perfect storm is what has happened to the stock in the last couple years. And maybe Chapek was playing some kind of 4D chess, thinking that he could outrun this and out Machiavelli everybody. But I've been saying for a lot. What did I say? I said this on the Midnight Edge morning show, and I said this way back in fucking February. I said that. I think I said it back in January, February, March, right when Chapek was taking the realms. I said this motherfucker needs to act quick and act swiftly, not this 4D chess bullshit where he thinks he can, the way that he thinks. See, the problem with Chapek is that he's an accountant. Everybody thinks that's what the solution was. That's not the solution. I know these people. I live and I work with, I am one of these people, these accountant types. And the problem with accountant types is they think that they can play the long game. That's what they think. They think that they can play the long game and forget about the PR game. And here's what Iger did. Iger ran up the company's fucking debt. He charged carded all the thing from Fox to Muppets to fucking everything and Star Wars and everything, and ran up the thing, but he ran up the stock value. Walks out the door, pandemic hits, and then he went on a PR tour about how fucking amazing he fucking was. And meanwhile, the investors and Wall Street people who have a short fucking attention span are like, hey, our stock portfolio is getting toast. hey, this guy's not doing our wokey shit. A lot of these investment firms are woke as fuck anyways. And these guys are smelling their own fucking farts. This company, I'm actually kind of happy that this is happening because frankly, I had already thought I was going to die before Star Wars got saved. Now I just might get to live long enough to watch Disney go down the fucking shithole that it belongs. Fuck this company. Fuck Iger the weatherman. Fuck Chapek. You took too long, motherfucker, thinking that you can play Machiavellian just the way you came up the fucking parks and shit. You had no idea who you're fighting with. You had no idea how these fucking woke ass people in Santa Monica, Burbank, Hollywood are. You have no fucking idea. And you thought you could outmaneuver them. Well, you took too fucking long.
That was the greatest rant known to man.
No, my Wakanda one was better.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that one.
You never saw the Wakanda rant?
No, I actually watched you guys' review, but I never did finish it. I was at work.
Fucking Iger. I knew this is the problem with
sneaking
fucking
watching.
Iger. He's a fucking leech. He's a fucking weatherman. Fucking God, what the? This is Revenge of the Karen Part 2.
He can't stand to not be in
By the way,
spotlight.
hello, Culture Casino.
Yeah, hi, Culture. Welcome to
Culture.
the party. We got breaking news here. I'm assuming this is why you just showed up. So, go ahead and take the floor past Mikey here, because I'm just fucking stunned right now, but I'm not.
This is absolutely the biggest ball sack kick we could have gotten when it comes to Disney, and not just for all the reasons that Mikey ranted about, which, believe me, in the background I've been listening to. I just wrapped up an amazing show with Lorena Creole, so here I am wearing my Disney gear from 2012, right? Talking about this stuff, right? And let me tell you, I have no interest in giving Disney any more money. It's been a couple of years now where I've been limiting the amount of expenses I have with this company, not because of anything that Chapek did directly, but all the baggage and bullshit that was left behind by Uncle Bob Iger. Iger is a giant piece of shit. The weatherman went on his retirement tour for 2 fucking years. If he'd gotten out of the way before, perhaps we wouldn't have had probably the most depressing set of quarters ever in Disney history, which actually we're going to dive right back into, unfortunately, because of his leadership. Bob Iger is not a leader. He's an acquirer. He's always been that person. He made his way up through the ranks from weatherman on up through the news division before he became the CEO. He does nothing but buy other people's shit, and then he allows other people to break it. He's the very reason that Kathleen Kennedy exists in this ecosphere. He is the cause of the giant butt crack full of just agenda-driven motherfuckers that are in this particular company, and he's going to continue to stack that deck. So instead of watching the perp walked Kathleen Kennedy go out the door in less than a year after the end of Indy 5 and everything that Lucasfilm did over its entire existence, this bitch is going to fuck it up even more because this guy ain't getting rid of her. Not only that, this person will likely promote Victoria Alonso as his second in command because that is how fucking stupid and ideologically driven he is. And if you think that this redirects or re-steers the boat with Uncle Bob in charge, it repositions them, you're 100% wrong. Uncle Bob Iger is the very reason we're in the position we're in with Disney, and probably in a broader sense, all of pop culture. Because if he did not make all of these people empowered the way they are, we would not be in the position where they are driving this ship so ideologically motivated into, well, essentially the destruction of Western culture. This guy's there for that very reason. This is the reason that you have to pay to sit in a specific spot, to watch a parade or watch a fireworks show. This is the guy who decided to push an idea of, making a cashless based system to help some people skip the lines if they were paying attention with FastPass. and this all goes back to the stream I was just on, to making it completely cast based, where you are now paying cash dollars on top of $140 ticket price to get on one single attraction for 17 additional dollars. This is not a good dude. He isn't. And not only that, he has no creative bones in his body. Not that Chapek did either, but at best, you could say he managed to acquire a lot of other people's IP for everybody he hired to drive into the ground. And interestingly enough, this gives Warner Brothers, somebody who Fatal J is absolutely in love with, the opportunity to take the dominant position in pop culture across the entire West. And that's all I have to say about that. End of rant.
I think this is great. I think it's great because now, with Amazon killing itself, with Disney now killing itself, Zaslav is going to eat everybody's cake. He's going to come in there. I mean, if he comes along, if you look at Ben Affleck, he's just the right age to flesh out that entire Bat universe. He could come in there. You could have some cameos with a Nightwing, a younger Robin. There could be a Batgirl in the background, and all this stuff could be going on, and people would just flock to that rather than the mess like that the MCU's in. I mean, everything.
Andy, I got to stop you, bro. Right now is not the time for hope and wishful thinking. We've been down this hopeful, wishful thing. We have no idea what the fuck we're going to get from Zaslav Warner Brothers till we get it. Right now, I'm in outrage and mourning right now because whereas I thought I might live long enough to see Star Wars survive and thrive, I now know I will die and it will be dead when I die. I will never. Star Wars, dead. Marvel, dead. X-Men, dead. Avengers, dead. Riri Williams, here she comes. Andy, why don't you go make a Riri Williams doll so we can set it on fire on air? How much will it cost me? Andy, I'm going to DM you on Twitter. I'm going to order a Riri Williams. Since I'm Mexican Iron Man, I'm going to order Afro Cornroll Riri Williams doll, and I want to set it on fire on a live stream. Even if I have to use my own channel and call myself a YouTuber to do it.
Well, here's my question though, Mike. How long can Disney afford to make this crap that they're losing money on?
Apparently, a little bit.
Andy, I was thinking that. Andy, I was thinking that exact thing because they're losing money left and right? So it has to get better.
Well, not only that, I mean, consider just how much FTX money Iger probably lost recently.
Yeah.
Wow. Yep.
These guys don't give a flying fuck because Star Wars is just the shoe department inside their Walmart Disney superstore.
Tom, Mike, anybody that's here that cares about anything Disney ever made. Tomorrow I'm releasing a video and I'm going to spill some of the beans now. Disney's in big trouble, specifically when it comes to Lucasfilm and Marvel. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. Fans have gone from apathy to indifference when it comes to both Disney and any of the products they offer, which would include Star Wars, which is why Andor is a giant flaming piece of shit, despite some people describing it as a halfway decent show, and nobody's watching it. That's apathy. That's beyond apathy. It's indifference. You have the same situation happening on the other side of the equation with Marvel, which is why you're seeing the precipitous decline in all of the Marvel film things. So I'm at a loss for words at this point, other than to say that, things are not going to get better at Disney. It's going to get far, far worse because Iger is ideologically driven and everybody below him is ideologically driven.
He's not ideally. He's beta ass bitch driven.
No. I mean, look at what they're coming out with. The animation that was greenlit under his watch is about to be counter programmed against Wakanda bait and switch, right? You're gonna have them competing with themselves, and neither of those films are going to be a win for American families or families across the globe because of the ideology that's driven by Strange World. And because of the ideology and all the other things that were intertwined, which I think the film was incredibly racist based on other people's descriptions, but I'm never going to know because I'm never going to see Wakanda bait and switch. But like I said, this is where we're at. I don't know that there's a road back from it. and I know that there's specifically no road back from it over the next 2 years while Iger's in charge. Also, if count me among the people that are most surprised that Chapek actually bent down and left after just being granted a 3-year contract. Holy shit.
I think he walked. He was pissed. That's what I
agree.
think, Culture.
I agree. I think something happened internally. Something happened internally where he was asked to say or do something, or he wanted to go in a certain direction, and the board gave him so much pushback, and he got tired of this fucking shit, and he took too long, and he didn't have the support he needed to just get green light. So he's like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out."
Yeah, that's the only reason I think they were pushed into Iger.
And I think they also said,
or Iger was just still puppeting shit in the background all this time, and he's like, you know what? Fuck you guys. If you want him to be the fucking leader so much, then make him the goddamn leader.
Exactly. That's exactly what I think happened, Tom. I think they said, like, well, if you don't go along in this direction and you really want to push this, well, we'll just bring Bob back. He said, you know what? Fuck you. Bring him back. Your company's, I'm out. And he took his contract, which, by the way, he just got extended. So whether he shows up to work tomorrow or not, he gets paid out. This motherfucker can be in Bahamas on the beach next week.
Well, and not only that, I mean, honestly, once you've worked your way up the ladder, Mike, and you know this being in the position that you're in, guess what? You could be back running somebody else's shit after they write you your big fucking umbrella check, which this guy's going to get. God dang. I'm pissed.
I'm livid. We're all pissed. This is fucking bull. Chapek took too long to maneuver this. Fuck, he took too long to fucking maneuver. That's the problem. I said I was back. It was back in January, February. It was way at the beginning of this year. I said this motherfucker needs to move and move fast.
I've been involved in the Diz boards and WDW Magic. I've been involved in all of these platforms.
Speaking of WDW
of my life, which would include the participation of the guy that just joined us.
He's back again. You left too soon, my friend.
Yeah.
Poor timing on my part.
Go, man. Go. Fuck. Oh, my God.
I know you're going to be going live with Valiant here in a bit, too, but yeah.
We're bringing that show back. You guys, when you're ready to wrap up, what time are you going to end?
I was going to let you guys jump off of here to there because, yeah, once we say our piece on this, yeah, it's like.
We'll just do a 1 a.m. show. We'll just keep going because this is insane. All right. So here's.
Speak on it, brother. I'm enjoying this show. Let's speak.
All right, here we go. All right, so back earlier this year, Chapek was unanimously approved by the board for a new contract or for a renewal on his contract. In addition to that, they made it a very public deal where they renewed him before they had to, like 3 months before his contract was up. And on the retreat that they did, they renewed it on day one. They also used his renewal to get rid of Peter Rice, who was the main contender to replace Chapek should that happen. Everything that was coming out of Disney was suggesting that the board was fully behind Bob Chapek, and that he was essentially the avatar, the enforcer, the strongman of what the board wanted to do.
Yes.
Fast forward to one single bad quarter. And that's what's going on. And this, all the BS that you guys are hearing on these other channels, on Twitter, everywhere, where they're talking about, well, Disney is just doing great. Disney's doing fantastic. Marvel's unbeatable. Star Wars is fantastic. We love Kathleen Kennedy. Disney would not be taking this sort of a step. This is as big as it gets. There's nothing bigger in terms of Disney, the company. Disney would not do this unless it is nightmare level bad behind the scenes. I don't know what they're looking at, but they would never, ever do this. Disney doesn't do things like this. And here's the other
thing. Real quick, can you elaborate, like, just theory, because I know we don't know facts, but what could be nightmare level? Like, is it just too much money lost, or what's going on?
So in the recent earnings report, one of the things that they said was that they expected this most recent quarter to have been the biggest loss that Disney Plus would take on. And then something interesting happened at the end of the earnings report, and that was, and I don't remember which analyst, they have about
JP Morgan Chase about the economic indicator.
That's right, about the economic indicator, because what Disney had attempted through Chapek and Christine McCarthy, who's the CFO, and by the way, man, she's got to be sweating right now if she's not already out the door and we just don't know it.
No, she's an ice queen, and she came up under Iger. She's probably safe.
She might be safe, but there's going to have to be some more fall people on this if what is happening is true. Here's the thing. What came out of that was that they were saying, basically the analyst was asking, so you're prejudicing the fact that, or the idea that this is going to be your biggest loss on the idea that there's not going to be a recession in the future. Now, everybody knows that we're most likely either in a recession or entering a recession. Yeah. Correct. So we've had 2 quarters of negative growth. We had one that was sort of by a gimmick out of that. But then we also had an inverted yield curve in the markets, which would indicate, and that's coming after 2 downturns. So you're looking at the potential for a really big recession coming up. So Disney was hedging the entire earnings report on the idea that that's not going to happen. Well, that's just ludicrous. And so that got pulled out. And that was very embarrassing. And when it happened, I was live at the time and I said, woohoo, like, oh my gosh, that blew up the entire earnings report. So here's what I'm thinking. If Disney Plus is not on the path to profitability, and if the loss of physical media, i.e. DVD sales, Blu-ray sales, VHS sales, if that is damaging Disney now to the point that they need to restructure how they're doing streaming, that would be catastrophic enough that they would make this kind of a move. Also, if the Disney parks, you've heard them in the past in earnings reports talking about that they have levers that they can adjust to pump up demand. Now, what happened at the parks, and you guys stop me if you want me to, because I'm trying to explain this, but I also want to be polite. I want to be respectful.
Real quick,
it's your show.
No, bro, you dropping gems, and I love it. The only thing that I always heard was this: if everything fails, they can always rely on the parts. So the parts are not doing good either.
All right, so essentially, on the park side, the Walt Disney World Resort is by far the largest revenue bringer for the Walt Disney Company. Now, Disneyland also is significant, but it's nowhere even close to the Walt Disney World Resort. It is the crown jewel of the company.
It is.
Like you said, if everything else fails, Walt Disney World will not. It is the size of Manhattan. It has theme parks, hotels, water parks, golf courses, everything. It is the vacation capital of the world, although Universal Studios has made great strides recently to catch up.
Yep.
They are in trouble in some other areas, and we'll circle back to the Walt Disney World Resort in just a moment. But they are in trouble in terms of China. And that's Iger's doing. So that's what's amazing about this. Welcome, VR. That's what's amazing about this is that in China, Iger put them in this position. So Iger invested heavily with like a $5 billion resort in Shanghai, China, which is now completely controlled by communism. It was then too, but it's even more so now. Xi Jinping is basically the king, the emperor of China, because he has full life tenure. He cannot be taken out except by some sort of nefarious overthrow of the government. And so now Shanghai Disney, okay, it's sitting over there completely in the control of the CCP. And Disney is kind of hamstrung because if they ever do anything that makes China mad at them, then they lose that resort. And so you could see a time when China could use Mickey Mouse's propaganda in a theme park that Walt Disney World built for, or not Walt Disney World, where the Disney company built for them. And Disney can have that ownership that they have, which is like 45%, completely dissolved and turned completely over to the Chinese government. At the same time, they're not doing very, very well with Disneyland Paris. Different topic, different day. But the Walt Disney World Resort is a huge, just churning machine of money for them. Here's the thing about that, and then I'll hop off this piece and turn it back over to you guys. After international tourism slowed down, and so that international tourism, what we're talking about is after the pandemic, you had a mad rush of families from all over Europe, specifically United Kingdom, but all over Europe, as well as out of South America, specifically Brazil. You had a mad rush of families who had that when they were kids, they came and they saw the castle and they wanted their kids to see the castle. And so this huge influx of international guests that propped up Walt Disney World over the summer as those families were doing everything they could to scramble back in case there were future lockdowns in the fall, winter, spring, or should geopolitics get in the way, such as the war in Ukraine. And so those families came rushing back to Walt Disney World, and it built up this huge crowd and massive revenue, because guess what else? These international tourists, when they come, excuse me, when they come to Disney World, it's like their once a generation trip. So they're going to spend mad money. But in August, that dried up. If Disney was looking also, so they've got the simultaneous problem of Disney Plus. Disney Plus could, if there's a recession, it could be in the red for much longer, and they might not hit their goals. The other thing would be, though, that if they were looking at Walt Disney World and they said, we're not going to hit our attendance goals, our revenue's down, the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser can't fill anything, you know, if that's what they're looking at, and they're determining that their levers aren't working, which we've begun to see some of those be moved, then you could see this kind of an earth-shattering change. The amazing thing is Iger did all of this. That's what is just, I mean, whatever happens,
That's crazy.
Iger picked Disney Plus. Iger picked investing billions and billions of dollars into Chinese real estate.
Yes.
Iger put them here. Iger put Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm. This is amazing.
Iger greenlit Galaxy's Edge. He approved the changes to that via Kathleen Kennedy. He is singularly responsible for all of the bad woke baloney sausage that Chapek has had to deal with for the last couple of years of his tenure. The only opportunity he's had to actually run his company might actually have only come in the most recent quarter, which was dismally set to begin with. And now Iger is going to take over and watch the collapse of the company. And he's going to have a fall guy that doesn't deserve to be there.
Culture, may I interrupt real quick?
Oh, of course.
Real quick. Renegade, he got to go. I want to hear Renegade's opinion before he leave. And Culture, you know I love you. You my guy.
No. No, I can't wait to watch or be a part of VR show.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got to tease that because Valiant. I know
only because I've already got Cameron is backstage.
And he's actually coming in here for a minute. So you guys can plug that and jump over there while I take care of the super chats afterwards. Because this is all breaking news, and I want to let you guys dive into that deeply. And all you guys out there, we're going to get the link. Give me that link VR before you take off so I can get that to everybody in the chat, because I haven't been able to find it in the customization yet.
All right, I'm posting it here into the
we got Cameron
chat.
joining us now, but he's going to be jumping over there. Welcome,
up?
Cameron. How you doing, brother?
Hey, guys. Crazy listening.
Yeah.
This is really good. And so I'm ready to throw in 2 cents before I jump off with Valiant.
Absolutely. Awesome sauce. So Valiant's got the link for me here. I'm going to throw that in the chat. So Cameron and Valiant, I'm going to let Valiant go real quick because he's going to jump out too. So both of you real quick on your way out the door as you're heading to your show here.
There's probably a lot.
This reaction real quick.
Yeah, there's a lot we don't know yet. Everything Pro said is correct. Part of me says I'm not surprised. Bob Iger hates Bob Chapek. He's hated Bob Chapek since day one.
Right.
He has made so many comments disparaging to Chapek and his management style, and I think, frankly, because of how much Bob Iger has been running his mouth the last year and a half, he's almost definitely been working behind the scenes to make this happen. I mean, he has obviously been on some type of hellacious tear, and every problem that Disney is suffering right now, correctly identified by Pro, all of it was created by Bob Iger. This has got to be one of the stupidest goddamn things I've ever seen. This is.
I'm with you.
I mean, it's like being trapped in an elevator with a guy who rips the fart, and then you get out of there, and then you invite the same guy back in to crack another one on the way back down to the lobby. It's like, what are we doing here? But
and
no,
Chapek is ruined. I mean, other than the mansions he's going to live in, he's done. I mean, Iger has destroyed Bob Chapek and his reputation. Who else is going to take him now?
And I got a boogie, guys, because I got to get the other thing going. I've got a lot of people waiting, and I know Cameron and Pro, I'll see y'all over there.
So I'm going to say one thing.
We're going to head over
there
shortly.
I'm going to hop off with Valiant as well, but I just want to say one thing. So I just want to say one thing that will continue the conversation here, but it's what I'm going to talk about with Valiant. I'm going to give a direct analogy to what I think happened here. What happened here is JFK announces or tells his staff, I'm going to split the CIA up into a million pieces. I'm
There
going to
you
break
go.
it down. And 1
Yep.
month later, he's dead. So when
Yep.
that memo came out, just
Yep.
10 days ago, or even not less than 10 days ago, when that memo came out just a week ago, right, stating that they were going to be firing people who weren't serving the audience, that was the direct. It's what I said on multiple channels. What I've said on my Patreon, what I've said here. That was the sword, and that's what people at Disney told me. That was a
But
sword.
he had
that
to
they
believe,
needed.
Cameron.
And
Cameron,
that was
he had to believe that the board was behind him to do that.
They
So
may
the
have told him
board,
they were behind him. And so
the board
and
pulled an et
something
tu
happened this
Bruno.
week.
Yeah.
Something happened this weekend where enough people whose jobs were threatened by Excalibur finally in Chapek's hand, where he said, "I'm going to start removing people," and I brought in Gutierrez, the head of legal, to do it, meaning I'm going to go after powerful people. That was the moment when the CIA is like, "Yeah, nah, it's not going to happen. We're going to fix this, right?" And this is what I didn't see this coming. There goes my reputation as a seer, but
Nobody saw this.
Nobody
coming.
saw this
I'll
coming.
leave that with you guys. I'm gonna go join Valiant. So I think that's
I was gonna
what's
say
happening.
I heard some noise there. It sounded like
Okay, that's
crashing.
You better mute Valiant.
Yep, I got to get running. I got the launch going for the 5 minutes.
I'm about to say
Yeah.
somebody
See
just
y'all in a
ran
bit.
through some glass.
All right, I'm gonna
All
take
right,
off.
so we got
Back
5
to-
minutes for Valiant starts.
on-
Okay,
on-
sounds
on
good.
Valiant sound.
And,
So
and,
my-
and you know what?
my fault.
The sword of Damocles that used to hang over Kathleen Kennedy's head is no longer there now because
Everything is reset. Everything is reset.
It annoys me so much because, again, I mean, Cameron's on top of it all, as we all know. And again, being in the industry that long at that level, you earn, the bumps and the bruises and the broken bones along the way.
Yeah.
I
Not like
100% see, that there was an end run done. Uncle Bob Iger basically had a coup, and he was enabled by people who had friends on the board who allowed all of this to happen. Because I promise you, with the metrics set in place, and we are about to have the worst weekend for Disney ever, although it won't be reported that way, with Strange World crashing and burning and families like throwing up their hands for Strange World. And you're going to have a very, very much underperforming Woke Forever film underperforming. This is going to be this. What sort of Damocles? She's still there? No, because Iger's leaving. I mean, excuse me, because Chapek's leaving Retro Blasting, but that's fine. Sincere respect, appreciate.
Well, KK is
This haven't
Iger's friend, though. That's the thing.
This
I think
haven't
that's what he
happened in
means.
human. This haven't happened in human history, though. You hire back the guy
Who
that
put all this
destroyed
bullshit in
everything?
place? Yeah,
I'm telling you guys, this is an et tu Brute moment from the board to Chapek.
Yeah.
This is incredible because he had to have thought that he had the backing of the board to come out with the hiring freeze. All of that is board approved. Yeah. He's not a voice out in the wind who makes these decisions in a vacuum. And so the idea that he came out with this massive change and that secretly behind the scenes the board was preparing to replace him with the man who put them in the position they're in. And now Iger, okay, so think about the impetus that Iger would come back with. Why would Iger do this? He would do it to restore his legacy. It's the only reason. He has more money than God. He doesn't need money. He doesn't need fame. He can go in on any show he wishes to go upon. Why would Iger come back? He's coming back because he wants to save his legacy, because Chapek was supposed to be the fall guy, and Chapek didn't fall fast enough.
I think it's even worse that, he was going to actually turn things around eventually, and that was even more terrifying. But gosh, you know what? This is why I love Pro, VR, Cameron, all the people that I hang out with.
Well, speaking of that, you guys, VR wants to get rolling here. So let's go through these super chats so we can send you guys over there. Yeah, thank you, WDW, again for hopping in again, man. I'll see you guys over there. Take care. And I want to thank Gonzalo Bergali, who had sent in, I believe, 5 gifted member chats, if I'm not mistaken here. Let me take a look. I got to scroll back up. A lot's happened. Yes, Gonzalo Bergali gifted 5 memberships. 1 to Michael Gonzalez, Dragon Bricks, DS Ford, Arden Blade, and Malice Flair. Thank you so much, Gonzalo Bergali. And speaking of, he also sent us in a super chat and says he is coming back because he knows Trump will own him in a presidency run, and I am no Trump fan. Yeah, well, I think his aspirations for political run went out the window a while back, but yeah, I don't know if culture has anything to say about that. Yeah. And then we got Red Tigress, who's been a member for 15 months at the maximum effort puppy level. It says next Favreau will be joining Gunn, Rip Star Wars, and Rip Disney. I did bring that up. Be interesting if Favreau jumped ship.
Fantastic.
He'd be a perfect person to direct Superman. Sean Stackhouse is here, and he's also been a member for 8 months at the minimum effort puppy level. And I seen you tried to send a super chat, you said, Sean, but I did not see anything come up, and I double checked in the background, did not find one. So hopefully you didn't get charged for anything. The Mr. Tickle Trunk says bum bum. Culture Casino says boobies. So you guys really made sure I was limited on my, I had to go and fix the limitation on my ads. Then we got Cryam here who says, I'm okay with this if by 2030 Warner buys Marvel and at a garage sale and we get a Justice League versus Avengers clash. Oh, Lord. That's hilarious. Mecha J says, I'm glad I've completely tuned out of Disney so I can sit back and just watch this mess they made unfold now that they brought Iger. Yes, indeed. This is going to be an interesting week, kids.
Yes, it is.
Douglas Nelson says Star Wars is dead while the MCU. Hey, how you doing, Doug? Star Wars is dead while the MCU is in hospice. Yeah, you're not wrong. Abandon all hope for all things Disney. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you, Douglas.
Happy Thanksgiving.
If I don't get to talk to you on Wednesday, I don't know if Doomcock's doing a show this week or not. Michael Gonzalez also sends in a super chat and says DeSantis killed Disney tax benefits and won't back down, especially since he won R+20 stuff entering public domain. Hail Winnie the Pooh at Blood and Honey.
I want to see that.
I can't, dude. The Tigger horror film is coming up after this one. I am fucking hard for that.
I want to see, and I'm not even a horror guy, but I want to see that Winnie the Pooh. I want to see that. That's going to be very interesting.
Wow.
Indeed. And then we got the C-Man here who says pretty clear that Disney's board is the problem. Well, in this instance, I think they were bamboozled by Iger. But we'll have more to say about this on the morning show, I'm sure. Then Jaime G or Jamie G, I forgot what it was. I'm so sorry. Sends in $10 and says, crazy news. Thanks for covering tonight. Yeah. And I'm going to send you guys over to Valiant stream right after this. And then Astron 1701 sent me a DM on Twitter. I think I got it. If it's the one about Hardcastle McCormick, I will definitely get back to you about that as soon as I can. And I want to say hello again to Michael in the chat. We got to have you back on the morning show too, man. We miss you. And I want to thank, of course, Valiant Renegade and WDW Pro for coming in here. Andy, of course, you got a channel. I'm sure the mods have been sharing it. I'll have to get that in the description. Is there anything coming up you want to plug real quick on the way out the door?
No, it's just funny. I made a 50-second video last night that said I was so happy that most of my collection is third-party figures, so Disney doesn't get a penny of it. now it's even more accurate.
That's awesome. And of course, Culture, thank you for hopping in here at the last minute. You got any videos besides the 6-minute daily tomorrow coming out?
Yeah, well, the 6-minute daily is coming out tomorrow. There's going to be 5 videos for sure being done in news form. We've got, of course, Midnight's Edge in the morning, which most of us will be at. And it looks like I'm going to be making a 6th video, which means I'm going to need some help. And yeah, fuck. Okay, I'm done.
We got a couple super chats here. JPRPH1 says, I'm embarrassed to admit that I have Disney Plus, but I just canceled it for good. I can't support Iger. Well, that's a choice some people may have to make in this instance. And then Mecha J says, if Chapek needs a job, Zaslav could have a place for him at WP.
You know, hiring Iger back in this position is like calling Dr. Gavorkian.
You're not wrong. Because like everything that's wrong right now, y'all are right. Like everything that's wrong. I'm like beside myself with this whole damn thing. But Mikey, you got anything coming up now that you're a YouTuber?
No, thanks for having me as always.
We love you, Mikey. Mikey is the master
Love
producer.
Mikey.
Oh, wait a minute. Now that he's a
Love
YouTuber, he's been a YouTuber for years.
Indeed. But another YouTuber is Mr. Fatal J, a good buddy of mine. So thank you very much for being here tonight.
This guy.
Check out Ninja Blast 2. Can you still get your hands on Ninja Blast 1, Jay?
I'm done.
Are you going to reprint? Are you going to do a reprint with 2?
Yeah.
Or?
I'm a reprint with 2. So people who never did get 1, they'll have a chance to pick up 1 and 2 at the same time. So number 1 is coming in. It's okay. Yes, sir.
Can I show people something?
There you go. There you go.
That's the other cover too, isn't it? Because I think Mikey showed the other one earlier.
No, that's just the poster. That's
the poster. Okay.
Oh, dude, I went all out on his comic, dude.
I don't know. I gotta look through the stuff I got. I got like 2 books.
Wait. I got more.
No, I don't think I got this stuff.
I got
Did
more.
I get this? I don't remember.
Yeah, that poster. Yeah, man. I'm so proud
Maybe
of that poster.
I did.
Dude, I went full on Ninja Blast. Wait, I got more.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. See, that's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. I tried my best to deliver the product in a timely manner and try to give you guys the highest of quality product. So please support me.
Yes.
Put your email in the email address, and I'm gonna take care of you. I promise you, I'll take care of you.
Put Fatal. There you go. Put Fatal up. There you go.
And you guys make sure to tell Tom you want some more Fatal J. Whenever he talk about DCEU or he talks about Warner Brothers, get Fatal J back on the channel because I like talking about this stuff and listening to Tom and the other amazing guests because they have a lot of knowledge when it comes to the Hollywood scene, man. I love listening to you guys.
Well, we try.
That's all.
We love you, Fatal J.
This guy is awesome. He sends your books. He sends your books in great shape. You don't understand. I got some wrinkled up books. This guy did not send me wrinkled up books. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody told me, I think Mark told me you was going to kidnap me and take me to New York for the Dark Council meetup.
This is true. I told him, I said, Mark, you got to get Fatal up there. I ain't coming. He said, we have to go get him. I said, I'll kidnap him.
If I get kidnapped by anybody, I will want to be kidnapped by you.
Head on over to Valiant's channel right now. Tell him we sent you, of course, and we're going to head over in the chat as well. See you there, kids.
Bye.